Hello, boys and girls. My name is Dr. Annette Durbin, and I am so excited to be reading a book with you today. The book is called Thank You, Santa. And this is one of my favorite books to read to my children at the end of the holiday season because this gives us an opportunity to be thinking about all of those people who gave us some special gifts or spent some precious time with us over the holiday season. And we get to write thank you cards or thank you notes and give those to the people that we love. All right, I hope that you enjoyed this book. Thank you, Santa. January. Dear Santa, thank you for all the presents, especially the knitting needles and balls of wool. They are just what I need because I'm sick in bed with a cold. But I'm not bored because I'm knitting lots of squares. My mom showed me how to cast on and how to do a plain and purl stitches. Tomorrow I'm going to knit a square with different colors in it. Love, Samantha. P.S. I hope you had a good Christmas too. P.P.S. Can you knit? P.P.P.S. How are the reindeer? February. Dear Samantha, thank you for the lovely letter. Hundreds of thousands of children write to me before Christmas, but I don't hear from many of them after Christmas. I'm sorry to hear that you are not well. Our littlest reindeer is ill, too. He has a runny nose and a bad cough. Mrs. Claus and I are taking turns to keep him company all night. Love, Santa. P.S. We had an excellent Christmas. A snowy owl visited us on Christmas Day. P.P.S. No, I can't knit, but my mom never taught me. And Mrs. Claus has forgotten how. Isn't that a pity? Boys and girls, did you notice here how the author has the word before and the word after in italics? And when I read this, I put a little emphasis on those words. So when you are writing your thank you cards or your thank you notes, if you want to emphasize something, then you can write that word slanted, or you can even make it bold print like this. March. Dear Santa, I hope the littlest reindeer is much, much better. I've sewn the squares into a jumper for him. Perhaps it will keep his chest warm. I hope it fits. On Sunday, we went to the zoo. I couldn't see a snowy owl anywhere. I said hello to the polar bear, but he just lay there with his eyes shut. I think he's very unhappy. Dad says our weather is too hot for polar bears. When I got home, I put on 3 jumpers and my hat and my scarf and gloves, and I lay in the sun for an hour. Now I know what it must feel like to be a polar bear in Australia. Love, Samantha. P.S. What do snowy owls look like? P.P.S. What other animals are there in the North Pole? P.P.P.S. Perhaps I should teach you how to knit. I wonder if Santa would like to learn how to knit. April. Dear Samantha, the jumper fits perfectly. Here is a special thank you from the littlest reindeer. See the reindeer footprint or the paw print? Hoof print, right? Those are hoofs. He's quite all right now, thank goodness. But I don't think we'll let him pull the sleigh again next Christmas. He catches cold so easily. I haven't told him yet because I know he will be very disappointed. There are lots of animals here in the North Pole. Mrs. Claus and I often watch them, and she does drawings of them. One of our favorites is the Arctic fox. In winter, its long, thick fur is pure white. It has furry feet and a bushy tail that keeps it warm at night. Love, Santa. P.S. I almost forgot. Snowy owls have white and brown feathers. The baby owls are white and fluffy. P.P.S. How is your hot polar bear? P.P.P.S. I would love to learn how to knit. I love that Santa is asking questions. for Samantha to get some more information. So when you write your thank you card or your letter, you might want to ask some questions about something the other person could give you some information on. May. Dear Santa, I loved hearing about the Arctic fox. I wish I had a bushy tail to keep me warm in the winter. I visited the polar bear again today, and he stared at me without making a sound. It's late autumn here, so he's no longer so hot, but I'm sure he's worrying about next summer. I wish there was something I could do to keep him cool. Love, Samantha. P.S. What do polar bears eat? P.P.S. The littlest reindeer's going to feel very left out. P.P.P.S. I'm busy writing a book for you. It'll be called How to Knit. Easy peasy instructions for people who know nothing about knitting. June. Dear Samantha, today we saw something wonderful. A polar bear taking her cubs out into the snow. They tumbled all about and they rolled roly-poly down the slopes. One of the cubs was very adventurous and went exploring on its own, but the other one kept close to Mother Bear. Mrs. Claus did some terrific drawings of them, and we pinned them up all over the house. So now we have bears everywhere. Love, Santa. P.S. Polar bears eat meat, usually seals. Sometimes a bear will wait for hours near a hole in the ice, hoping to catch a seal. P.P.S. I know you're right about the littlest reindeer. He will feel left out, but he's still not strong, and we were very worried last time when he was so ill. P.P.P.S. I'm looking forward to one day to receiving your book on how to knit. Notice here that whenever someone writes a thank you note back to the person, they make certain that they answer those questions that they were asked. July. Dear Santa, it's the middle of winter now, and I'm hoping for snow, but Mom says it hasn't snowed here in 20 years. So I wonder, where do they live? Because where I live in Alaska, we get snow every winter. So she helped me cut up paper into tiny pieces. Then we emptied bucketfuls of paper over our heads and had our very own snowstorm, look at that, in the living room. Love, Samantha. P.S. Are there any birds in the North Pole apart from the snowy owl? Mom says in the South Pole there are emperor penguins. As soon as the mother penguin has laid the egg, she leaves it with the father penguin to look after. Because there is no nest, for 2 months, the father penguins hold the egg, balanced on his feet to keep it off the ice. Once the egg has hatched, the chick sits on the mother penguin's feet. That certainly is a long time for the father penguin to hold the baby penguin's eggs on his feet. And here you can see a picture of some beautiful emperor penguins. And this one here has kind of poofed out a little bit, so I wonder if there's an egg sitting on this penguin's feet. August. Dear Samantha, the emperor penguin is an amazing bird, isn't it? Imagine balancing an egg on your feet for 60 days. Mrs. Claus and I tried balancing a ball on our feet, but we didn't last past 60 seconds. Maybe it's a soccer ball here. I'm very glad I'm not a father penguin. There are lots of birds here, puffins and terns and snow geese. The snow goose doesn't balance eggs, but it's still an incredible bird. Every September, it flies almost 5,000 miles nonstop to a warmer climate. Then in May, it flies back to the North Pole. Boys and girls, do you remember what that is called when something goes to another place for the winter and then they come back to the area that they were born in? That's called migrate. Okay, and migrating is what lots of animals do in the wintertime. Love, Santa. P.S. Mrs. Claus and I are starting work on this Christmas's toys. P.P.S. I still haven't told the littlest reindeer that he will have to stay home this Christmas. September. Dear Santa, I'm very glad I am not a snow goose. All that flying around sounds like hard work. I'm such a lazy bones that I even want Dad to carry me up the stairs to bed. You see the word lazy bones? This is a word that is called, it's figurative language. So the girl is comparing herself to someone who is lazy, who doesn't do anything. And because she has bones in her body, she calls herself lazy bones. And then we can also learn lazy bones that I even want Dad to carry me up the stairs to bed. So if she has legs, but she cannot walk. Although it's still only spring here, already it's getting hot. The weather forecaster said we are going to have the hottest summer ever. What will happen to the polar bear? I visited him again on Sunday. He was just lying there with his nose on his paws. Perhaps he was dreaming of snow and ice. Do you think polar bears can dream? Love, Samantha. P.S. I know you and Mrs. Claus are busy making toys, but I hope you'll still have time to write to me. P.P.S. Please, please let the littlest reindeer pull the sleigh again this Christmas. I wonder what Santa's going to do. You may have noticed that there's a lot of P.S.s at the bottom. And a long time ago, before we had computers, when people would handwrite a thank you letter or a letter to someone, if they forgot to add something, then they would add a P.S. And that means postscript. So this is your script, you're writing, and post means after. So this is a postscript, and it gives the author an opportunity to share more information or ask another question of the reader. October. Dear Samantha, I told the littlest reindeer that he couldn't pull the sleigh this Christmas. Look how sad he is. I tried explaining that it's because we don't want him to catch another cold and get so sick again. But he doesn't understand. He thinks I don't want him because he's not as big and strong as the other reindeer. I wish I could think of a way to keep him warm during the long journey. Love, Santa. P.S. I'll never be too busy to write to my favorite pen pal. P.P.S. I'm sure polar bears do dream, especially if they are kept in a zoo. I'm not promising anything, but I will try to make your polar bear summer a happier one. November. Dear Santa, this is a short letter, and here are some early Christmas presents. I hope Mrs. Claus likes the paint box and you like the knitting book, the wool, and the needles. There's also a special present for the littlest reindeer. The scarf, woolly cap, and booties will keep him as warm as toast, especially if he wears his jumper. Love, Samantha. I think that Samantha wants to try and help Santa overcome the challenge that he has with the littlest reindeer, and the little reindeer wants to really to go and help spread some Christmas cheer on Christmas Eve. P.S. All I want for Christmas is for the littlest reindeer to be happy and for the polar bear's dream to come true. Merry Christmas. December. Dear Samantha, what a surprise. Thank you for the lovely presents. Mrs. Claus is delighted with the paint box, and I'm going to start knitting soon. The littlest reindeer keeps jumping for joy. He will be the snuggest, warmest reindeer ever to pull the sleigh. Here's the scarf that she knitted, the hat, the booties, and of course the sweater. Love, Santa. I just look at the reindeer, and the littlest reindeer seems so happy. P.S. Mrs. Claus and I hope you like the drawings of all the polar bears. Put them on your wall, and it will be as if you were with us right in the middle of the North Pole. P.P.S. Why don't you visit your polar bear on Christmas Day? We are bringing something special for him, something that will make his dream come true. A Merry, Merry Christmas to you. Oh my, look at that polar bear. What do you think Santa brought the polar bear? It looks like we have some nice cool temperatures and the polar bear looks very, very happy. Very happy indeed. And the story ends here with the little girl, Samantha. It looks like she's writing another letter. All right. Well, boys and girls, I hope that you enjoyed this book. If you are a teacher or a parent who would like to read this book to your children or with your children, you can find this book on Scholastic. That's the publisher. And also on my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that I do have another video using this book as an instructional resource to teach reading and writing skills to children. All right, so I hope that you have enjoyed this book. Thank you, Santa. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, to visit my website. My blog is blueribbonteacher.com. And at my website, I put a lot of great information that's for parents and teachers who are working to provide support for their students, developing their literacy skills, their math skills, their writing skills, anything with science and social studies. So as you know, my name is Dr. Annette Durbin, and I'm a 30-plus year teacher. I'm a national board certified teacher, and my mission is to provide some support, instructional resources, and tools for parents and teachers so that they can be the best blue ribbon teacher that they can be. All right, I'm going to sign off for now. I hope that you enjoyed our book today. Thank you, Santa, and I look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Bye.